Hello, once again, good morning, my dear 8th standard students. So, after why I am making this video to conclude this chapter, crop production and management, which is the first chapter of 8th standard science. Okay, we already discussed about this crop production and management. It's not a very difficult chapter, it's a basic chapter. Okay, it's a base. What all things is happening around you, for example, like farming and all, you are very much familiar about that. Okay, so I am not wasting a lot of time for explaining all those things, because all those things you already know about these things. Two new things you are studying, I think this is Kharif and Rabi season. Okay, because of the diversity. Okay, diversity in our country, different areas of our countries has different types of soil. Types of soil like alluvial soil, red soil, black soil, desert soil, laterite soil, mountain soil. So different parts have different soil, and the availability of water is also different in different places. For example, in the plain region of Ganga, there is a lots of availability of water, so it is very good area for cultivation. And at the same time, we can cultivate lots of crops which needs lots of water also in that area. Understand? So mostly rice is such a crop which needs a lots of water. That's why it is called as Kharif crop, and it is cultivated during the rainy season from June to September, that period. Understand? We cannot grow rice in this Rajasthan area, Punjab areas, because there is rain is very less. Understood? So rice needs huge amount of rainfall. At the same time, if irrigation facilities are there, it is fine. Irrigation means artificially providing water for this agriculture. So two types of season, Kharif and Rabi. It's nothing. Kharif means rainy season. Okay, Kharif crops means crops which are grown during rainy season, and Rabi means crops which is grown during winter season. One more season is there. It is summer crops, or I think Zaid crops or summer crops. That's not that much important for you. These two one word question. They are one word question. Remember those names perfectly. So at the beginning we will go with the basic practices of agriculture. Understand? So I just told what is this in last class, but I didn't explain it. So most of the things you are very much familiar about these things. You see, preparation of soil. You have seen how they are preparing the soil, sowing the seeds. The seeds are there. Mostly we are sowing the seeds. For example, in the case of rice, how we are preparing the soil. Okay, anyway, we will discuss about that after. Adding manure and fertilizers, irrigation, protection of the crops, harvesting it, and after that storing it before supplying it to all the peoples. Okay, let's start. The first one is preparing the soil. So in different areas, we know that the soil is also different. Some places we can see red soil. In some places we can see black soil. Some places we can see alluvial soil, laterite soil, and all. So the preparation of soil is also a very important thing during this agriculture. Okay, have you seen small seeds of these gram and gram seeds? If you simply scatter that seeds in your courtyard, it will grow? No, it won't grow. Why? Because for that seed to grow, it must get nutrients from the soil. For getting that nutrients, it must be under the soil, isn't it? That's why what we are doing, we are plowing the field. You heard about plowing? And we use a simple tool which is called as a plow. P-L-O-U-G-S, plow. It looks like something like this. It will be like have you seen? It's called as plow. P-L-O-U-G-S. Understand? Mostly this end is tied to a cow or a camel or a horse, and one farmer and two cow is enough. Cow or bull is enough to use this tool called as plow. So what is the use of this plow? This plow will loosen up the soil. Understand? Loosening up. Because lots of years we didn't cultivate our field, so the field will become very tough, isn't it? Very hard. And the seeds will not grow in this hard soil. It is very difficult for them to absorb the nutrients it is needed if the soil is very hard. So we need to soften it. Understand? So we use this method called as plow or plowing. Plowing means actually this is the plow head, okay? Plow head, and this is the raft or that handle of that plow. Mostly this is iron or made of wood. This is a traditional way of plowing. But nowadays, how we are preparing our land? You have seen tractors, isn't it? It's a some more advanced, technologically advanced system of plowing. A tractor can plow through fields. Within minutes, it can plow an entire acre of field. But plowing takes a lots of time. So mostly now plowing is not used. Plowing is used, but not with this method. It is done by the tractors. Okay, so that's the first preparation of soil. So we want to make that soil very loose. And during this plowing time, sometimes there will be big pieces of soil. We will break it and we want to level that land. Understand? You know this. You have seen this in your own villages and all. We need to level up the land. Understand? First they will loosen up the soil. After that they will level it up, so that equally they can sow the seeds. So after preparing the soil, the next step is sowing the seeds. So there are different methods of sowing. For example, in the case of this rice, how the sowing is done? Sometimes it is done inside in some other places, okay, in other places, very safe places. After that, manually they are taking that small plants of paddy and they are planting it. But in some areas where the water is very high, what they will do, they will plow the land first and they will add water into it and simply they will throw the seeds, so that the seeds will dip into the water and get down the soil. But in some other places where there is not that much water, what type of sowing method they are using? There is a particular type of a tool for sowing. Understand? What the tool? They will remove that land, they will put the seeds and they will cover it with soil. Simple thing, isn't it? It's a very simple process. Just remove a bit of soil, put those seeds there and cover it with soil. That is the sowing. Then the sowing is done. After that, adding of manure or fertilizers. Difference between manure and fertilizers is a 2 mark or 3 mark question. Understand? This is 1 mark question. This is, and this all things is maybe an essay or 3 mark question. Understand? Define any two will be an essay. Define, only write the names of all the basic practices is 3 mark question. So we are talking about manure or fertilizers. So you know this land, the soil must have a lots of minerals inside it, so that the plants can absorb all those things. But if we are reusing the land, understand, nowadays we are reusing the land. You studied in the older classes that in our old grandfathers, what they did, they will move from one place to another. And when the fertility of the soil is gone, they will go to another place. But in nowadays, what we are settled in a particular position, isn't it? So we are not moving here and there. So continuous cultivation of these crops, it will bring down the minerals and nutrition value of that particular soil. So that we need to add this extra fertilizers or manure. Manure means it's a natural form. Understand? For example, cow dung is a manure. Decayed leaves is a manure. But fertilizers means artificial. We are making it chemically. For example, urea, potash, nitrogen and all, phosphate. All those are artificial types of fertilizers. Okay. So we need to, in order to provide the soil with sufficient nutrients and minerals, we are adding manure or fertilizers. That's the third step. After that, what we want to do? Irrigation. Irrigation only in some areas. Okay. If there is enough rainfall is there in that area, there is no need of this irrigation. Okay. Most of the parts of our country does not get that much rainfall, so irrigation is very important for our country. Not only that, India is #1 country, understand, regarding irrigation. India is the country which has the largest area which is under irrigation. Okay, if we consider the area of irrigation for each country, India ranks #1. So irrigation is what? Artificial supply of water. Understand? Artificial supply of water for this agriculture is called as, or this crop production is called as irrigation. In different areas, the methods will be very different. In your textbook, 3 or 4 methods are given, but only 2 methods you want to study, and which method is used in your areas, you can use that. For example, drip irrigation, sprinkler irrigation, well irrigation is there, canal irrigation is there, tank irrigation is there. Now you have seen canals, isn't it? In some places you can see canal, in everywhere you cannot see canal. From river itself we are taking this water. Have you seen wells, not bore wells? Bore well irrigation is also there. So only 2 methods you want to study, any 2. Just go for drip irrigation and sprinkler irrigation. Different types of irrigation methods. Okay, you have seen it in your areas. Okay, sprinkler means it will be, the water will be sprinkled throughout the field. Mostly sprinkler irrigation is used in plantation crops when this area is very big. For example, rubber estate, coffee plantation, tea plantation and all. There it is very difficult to carry the water there. That's why they are using this sprinkler. Sprinkler means it will sprinkle the water throughout the field. The next method is drip irrigation. Drip irrigation. Drip irrigation means mostly this type of irrigation is used where the water is very less. Understand? If you are using this sprinkler irrigation, lots of water is wasted. Unwantedly, lots of water is wasted. But in the case of drip irrigation, each and every drop of water is not wasted. Directly it is given to the root of those plants or trees, whatever we are cultivating. Okay, so that is irrigation. A definition is, one more question, artificial supply of water for agriculture. So the next one is the protection. So protection is an important thing. Protection from weeds and protection from other insects also. For example, have you seen different types of plants which we are not grown in our field? For example, we are growing paddy or groundnut. For example, groundnut is a good example. We are growing groundnut in a particular field. But if we see after 2 or 3 weeks, we can see lots of varieties of other types of plants, isn't it? Small plants, mostly grass and all. They are called as weeds. Understand? Weed, W-E-E-D, weed. Actually, these weeds are unwanted plants. We don't want it, but still they will grow. And what they will do, and what all manure or nutrition fertilizers we are giving to these crops, these weeds, they will also take all these nutrients. Understand? So they will make our crops to grow very slow. In order for that, what we want to do? We want to remove those weeds. There's different types of methods. Do you understand what is weeds? Unwanted plant which is grown automatically grows among our crops. That is called as weeds. So how to remove these weeds? Manual method, just pluck it off. We can remove that. But at the same time, nowadays, if we have a huge land area, it is not practical to remove each and every weed manually. So what we are doing? We are using some types of weedicides or chemicals. Actually, they are poison, and if we mix it in a particular volume, it won't harm our crops, but it will kill these weeds. Understand? Weeds are very small, that's why it will kill the weeds. Some types of, it's called as weedicides. Insecticides, pesticides and weedicides are there. Weedicide means which kills the weed. Insecticides means which kill the insects. And lots of insects are also there which will destroy our crops. If we use this insecticide, that is also a poison. It will kill the insects. It will not harm our crop. So that the phase is called as the protection. And also this preparation of soil or tilling or plowing. Plowing, one more time I didn't told. It is also called as tilling. Okay, that's also important. Tilling. Tilling. Okay, tilling or plowing. So during this tilling time, at that time also this protection is occurring. What all weeds are already there in the land, if we plow that land, the root will be cut off and the weeds will easily die. So that is the part regarding protection. So the next one is harvesting. Harvesting means to what all crops we have already planted, it's time to take it back. Understand? When in the case of fruits, when it ripes, we can pluck it. In case of rice, when it's ready to use, we can cut it down and harvest it. That process is called as harvesting. It is the happiest moment in the life of a farmer. Okay, in a year, mostly this September, October time, that's the time of this harvesting. That's why most of the religious festivals, traditional religious festivals comes during that time. Because harvesting time means it is the time of happiness. Not only that, do you know the life of these farmers and all in the olden times? Because in between they are living very difficultly. During that time there were no supermarkets, hypermarkets and all to buy these goods and all. So what they were doing? They were waiting for this harvesting season so that they can store the food for the next 6 months. Understood? So harvesting is one of the happiest moment in farmer's life. Mostly it comes in September and October. But in the case of rabi crops, it comes in April or March. So that is harvesting. So the next one is storage. Understand? Storage means mostly it is in our home itself we can have a lots of big containers or vessels for storing this food. Especially why it is required to store this food. Basically, if you are simply kept keeping this food means some rats or any other animals will come and just they will take it, isn't it? Simply if we are keeping this food outside, this type of rats, dogs, cats, other animals will come and they will eat it up. So to protect these types of food products from them, what we will do? We will store it. Mostly for this storing, we are using a particular type of cover called as a sack. Understand? Sack, S-A-C-K, sack. You know what is a sack? I've seen rice sacks. Rice comes in sacks. If you go to a market, you can see, a supermarket, you can see rice is covered, not covered, packed inside a sack. Mostly this sack is made up of jute or nowadays it is made up of plastic. So that it is safe from these insects or animals like rats and other cockroaches and all. So that is called as storage. Not only that, our government has huge granaries are there. Understand? Godowns are there, godowns for storing huge amount of food. Understood? So during this time of corona, you are already familiar that our government is providing free ration for the common people. Okay, fine. From where they are getting? Directly they are not going for the paddy field to give us rice. Actually they are storing all those things inside the godowns or the granaries. Understand? For that, so that they can use it afterwards whenever it is required. That is called as storing. Actually, it is a simple chapter, isn't it? Only that much. The chapter is finished. With this video, I will give the notes also for the chapter. Very simply, I will give. Very simply. Understand? We don't want to boil your brain during this time. Next year, anyway, it is going to boil because 9th standard science is a bit more tougher. Not a bit more tougher, a bit tougher than 8th standard. 8th standard, you are simply dealing with common science. Okay, common science is main part of chemistry, physics, and biology is not included in 8th. It's very simple. But next year it is going to be difficult. So I am not pressurizing you more this year because it's very simple. And it's very easy to score 90-95 marks for 8th standard science because already the syllabus is reduced to half. I think last year or the year before already they reduced. Before it was like 26-27 chapters, but now only 60 or 80. That much, yes, correct. So what you want to do? I will give the notes. Either you can print it out or you can write it into your science syllabus. Understand? Either you can take the print and file it, but best thing is to write into your classwork. Okay, keep a separate book as science classwork. This year only one book is required. Next year 9th standard you must have 3: science, physics, chemistry and biology. Okay, my little kids, that's the end of the chapter. There is nothing very critical or very difficult in this chapter. It is very common. It's a very base. Whatever happening in our surrounding, that's it. So finish the classwork and all, and during this corona time you won't get too much time. Okay, for your academics there won't be too much time. So which time you are getting, don't waste it. Use it and Just go through the syllabus. I am not telling that each and every time you must. Anyway, I have seen lots of parents what they are doing. They are every time forcing their students study, study, study. Anyway, this time it is very difficult to follow the older traditional methods of teaching and all. So be calm. Okay, if the parents are watching, this is for them. Don't pressurize your students. Okay, they are only in 8th standard. There's nothing that much. Just go through the syllabus. Maybe we are hoping that soon the school will reopen. After that, we will cope up with all those portions which is pending. So till then, this is Within Raj signing from this part of the world. So my dear kids, stay at home, stay safe. Okay, bye and Jai Hind.